In the website, actually, in the website of your company, Bloom, I read something very interesting. Anyone starting their own business needs to learn how the money works.
Mm-hmm.
How exactly the money works? Because if you know that, like, I'll take that advice any time of the week. Yeah.
I think that's been probably one of the biggest learning curves, was working out how business money works compared to, say, when you have your own salary. So I think that when you price a project, you have to understand what you're paying towards tax. You have to understand what your exact costs are. You have to, which are direct costs. Then you've got indirect costs. So you've got business running costs. I seem to, and I think a lot of other people have that, is I have money I can see in my bank. I have my forecast and my revenue, what I think I'm going to make, and I then have what the accountants have calculated I'm going to make. And they all vary slightly differently because they're all at points in time. And obviously the accountant is much more astute at taking off VAT, or where you can and can't claim things, which is not in my kind of revenue or cost forecasting. Yeah. And then obviously the bank is at a moment in time, that's live. So you might think you have more money than you have, but actually you owe so much for tax, or you've had money go out and you haven't had it quite land in the bank yet, but you know it's coming. So it's a completely moving part, which is quite different to when you are salary based and you know you've got a monthly wage of, say, £2,000 coming in a month, and that's coming in and then your bills go out. When you're running a business, that wave is continuous and it's going, and you have unexpected costs. And it's not your money, it's the business's money, which I think as a business owner was quite an interesting lesson to learn, because you're sort of seeing this cash come in and think, oh my God, I've got 50 grand in the bank. I've never had 50 grand in the bank. And then you realize, well, I don't have 50 grand in the bank because 20% of that is going on corporation tax. Another load of that is going on another sort of tax. I've got to pay for this. I've got to pay for that. I'm actually left with £3,000 in the bank. So you do an awful lot of work for what's actually not a lot of cash. And it's not my money, it's the business's money. So I think people can get very caught out.
I'm sorry that I'm interrupting, but there was this movie with Danny DeVito, which I forgot what the movie was called, but he was saying there is one thing that I like more than money, and that's other people's money.
yeah. And I think it was a big learning curve, because you think I run the business, but the business isn't me. The business is an entity which I am in charge of controlling. And when I was in a previous, I worked for a big corporate, and there was an account department that did that. We did our fees, and you weren't really aware of all those on costs. So it was a big lesson to learn. And it's something that we're still trying to get right, trying to get the cash flow balance right. That's really tough. People don't pay, things come in late. And yeah, it's been a skill that not everybody has. And it's also been a skill that I rely heavily on the accountants, because it's really important to pay taxes on time. I now employ, so I've got pensions to pay, I've got national insurance to pay. It's quite a vast feat, which you can easily misjudge or get wrong. So it's been identifying your skills, and finances was not an initial skill of mine. It's something I'm learning.
I can relate to that,
but you just
definitely.
kind of have it.